Welcome, Gemini, to your Aries New Moon 1 month deep dive forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Each lunation has its own unique identity. We can talk about new moons as being a time to set our intentions and be more dynamic, and that's good. But I'm going to share the adventure of the exact moment of this new moon from a purely Gemini perspective. It's also in a conjunction with Chiron, the so-called wounded healer, for the first time in 4 years, and it will be the last time for 50. By the end of the video, you'll have a clearer understanding of what you can expect around energy, work, relationships, and finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So on the screen, Gemini, is the event chart. And there's the moon and the sun in the sign of Aries, 27 degrees and 28. Now, just incidentally, it's the first new moon of a series of now 8 that isn't at 28 degrees. So we're broken out of that. But the combination of these two in the last decan of the sign of Aries is sub-ruled by the buoyant energies of Jupiter, which can be very much about optimism. And you can see, including your ruler Mercury, we've got a whole range of players in Aries, which for you can be very much to do with your future plans, can be to do with your network, your alliance, your highest hopes, can be to do with luck at some levels, but most of all, it can be to do with our long-term purpose. And having Mercury in the mix, your ruler, is significant because it's very close to Neptune. So if you're not quite clear about where you're heading, that you're not too sure about some of your alliances or friendships at the moment, or if you're feeling frustrated, Mars in a conjunction with Saturn, that could show up. But what Chiron does in the sign of Aries, it's going to be leaving in the middle of June for 4 brief months, but it will go back into Taurus next year in April. But what it means and has meant for us all collectively since February 2019 is working on our identity. But for you, your identity within your network, your friendships. So if you've really grown that over these recent years, developed some really positive alliances, then you've used the Chiron energy well. Because Chiron in the 11th house, particularly in the natal chart, could be someone who's a brilliant sports coach. 11th house very much to do with team activities, and someone who's really a cheerleader for others. Chiron can be a real source of strength, but it can be also where we feel a wound. So if you're not enjoying certain alliances and friendships at the moment, you don't find socializing as easy as the archetype of your sign suggests, that may be something that this new moon throws up. But what we can do using our mental energy is to work on that Chiron vibe to release what's no longer serving our greater good. And one of the best ways to do that with the energy of Aries is to really want to start afresh, but start afresh in our thinking as much as our connections. Now, the ironic thing is that Venus and Uranus are coming into your sign later this month, but they're in the 12th house. So if there are some friendships, some associations, doesn't necessarily have to be extremely close friends, but if there are some people you've been collaborating or cooperating with in recent times, but it's not really quite working or it's run its course, it wouldn't be a surprise if you are coming through a period of separation, of ends. Uranus can be about freedom and liberation. Venus can be about relationships. But you know, a new moon is an opportunity also to refresh. So if there are some people you're enjoying those connections with, you can make them stronger. But what Chiron perhaps asks us to do is be more aware of our vulnerabilities and not to mask them, but to actually work with them. And that can be something you can do. I think really, along with Mars and Saturn being in that conjunction, which peaks on the 18th or 19th, I think. That is the first time for 29 years in Aries. So you may encounter this week itself some kind of roadblock. You might not quite get something you really aspire to. But because Neptune and Mercury are so closely together, if you do feel confused or disorientated, it wouldn't be a complete surprise. But you know, there are opportunities here, Gemini, because Pluto, the planet of change, is in a stunningly powerful link with Mars. And if you are really absolutely 100% clear on where you want to go, why you want to go that route, and with who, this can give you enormous drive and passion to make that happen. You can overcome the hurdle of Saturn, and you can overcome the draining vibe of Neptune. But also, as far as your finances are concerned, Jupiter, the planet of luck, is still in a very strong link with Venus. Don't underestimate what you're doing behind the scenes at the present time, because it can have an impact down the track that could be very helpful. Now, what about romantically? Well, I did say, as far as friendships are concerned, there could be a moment or a period of separation going on. As far as being in an involvement that is more intimate, I think if you can really share at times your sensitivities, your fears, your anxieties, and do that comfortably. But also, you know that your partner is also a friend, and you can celebrate the things you have in common, not just focus on what makes you different. This can be a next month period of development, which can be very strong, particularly with Venus and Uranus entering your sign later this month, by which time you may be in the mood to give yourself a radical new makeover. And even if you're single, there could be new people heading your way. Now, I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next, Gemini. But just to say, if you want to discover more about your personal journey through this life using astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data, or 2 if you don't know the time, you can order 3 charts, but just pay for 1. So I've reduced the price because I realise that people are feeling the pinch, but also because I want to share the power of astrology to as many people as possible. Please see the link below for more. Now, if you've yet to watch your Uranus in Gemini 84-year cycle deep dive video, that's on the screen. If you've yet to watch your April monthly video, that's on the screen too. If you'd like to work with me directly, please check out my testimonials below. If you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope via your device each morning, please do so below too. Now, to summarize, as far as your finances are concerned, something you've been working on, perhaps collaboratively, where you feel comfortable with the other person, that can come through for you over the next 4 weeks in a very positive way with Jupiter in that second house. If you are discussing things at the moment of a confidential nature, having an interview, applying for jobs without the knowledge of your current employer, or you are even talking to someone in a romantic context in a more confidential way, something really good can come from that for sure. Now, if you're really clear about your future direction, that link between Mars and Pluto is really very strong, especially if you are allied with people who share your vision or share your values. As far as energy is concerned, I think having Neptune on Mercury and Mars with Saturn and the healer on this position here, if there are people around you who tend to be quite draining, and it may be people you actually like, we can encounter people who are stress carriers. The people are always jolly, but when they walk away from us, we're absolutely totally washed out. Have you ever experienced that? It's really, do share what you've experienced underneath the video, please. But I pick up on that very strongly because I feel I'm very sensitive to what's going on around me. And those people who are very bubbly and jubbly, if you like, can, however pleasant they are, be the people that can deflect us from what we really want to do. So I think as far as as your hopes are concerned, do watch out for where your energy is going, because the 11th house can seem much in demand, but it's about applying it to the right people and the right situations. And if you're patiently pushing forwards with that North Node at the top of your chart through to the end of June, the end of July in terms of the true North Node, some kind of significant breakthrough could come for your career too. It's all the best to you, Gemini. Take care and goodbye.